Hey, I'm Andy, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can save hundreds of hours for your team by automating this one thing that all of us hate, and it's the daily stand up. Seriously, with this automation, you can completely get rid of your daily stand up, and it works especially well for remote teams. But I'm a video game producer and a project manager type. So this information is still really important to me because there are so many times where I feel like this meeting could have been an email. I'm actually going to show you an automation on how to turn it into an email. And here's how it works. First, what we're going to do is create a form that asks my entire team the actual standard check-in question. Like, what day is this check-in for? What did you do yesterday? What do you plan on doing today? Are there any blockers? You can use this for any team, right? Now I have the make automation running. All right. And it's actually sent me an email. So let's all check up on that. So here's my email. And there's a link to the document. And there it is. Team morale, median score 2. And it's provided a summary of yesterday, summary of today. Of course, it included some of the other records I had in there. But as you can see, Andy needs a renewed software license for Maya, which expired yesterday. All right. And of course, it includes all these details for the other projects as well, based on some of the form data that I already entered. As a bonus, I'm also going to create an automation at the end to summarize the team's accomplishments at the end of the week and email that up to my boss. And if you're looking to add AI or automation like this to your company, you can schedule a call with me. I have a direct link in the description below. So now I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to create this automation. First, here we are in Airtable. I'm going to create a new base, start from scratch. I'm going to call this my demo daily check-in. I'm just going to call it demo 2, just for the sake of keeping my two databases different. Let's make this a nice, the blue is good here. All right. I like to start with the Airtable database first because I like to know where my source of truth is for my data first. So it's not always necessary. I could have started with the Typeform first, like the user interface. But for me, I do have a little bit more of a software development background. So I like to take things from a more data perspective first, if that makes any sense. So first thing I'm going to do is delete these fields here. I'm going to go ahead and do an auto number ID. So this is just to capture the record number as the primary key for this table. I'm going to also, what I should have done first, just if I wasn't so frantic here, I'm going to call this the check-in table. So this table is meant to capture all the check-in data day after day after day, person after person after person. So let's just call it check-in. And that's why I have this ID here, auto-generated ID here, because we just want that record ID. For name, we'll keep it name. It's going to be the person's name. And then we're going to link that to a particular project. So I'm going to actually, right off the bat, link to a new table. And let's call it projects. And name the table projects as well. Okay, and it should really only link to one record, one check-in per one project, which makes sense. Okay, I'm going to come back to projects in a moment, but let's just fill out the rest of this. We do want the record ID, so grab a formula field and do the record formula right here just to have it available. All right, so this is our database table for check-in. Now let's go back to projects. Now in projects is very simple. I don't need to make an ID or anything. I just want to list out the project names. So I'm gonna let's do 3 different games. Let's do some Sega games. All right. Bayonetta. Bayonetta. Let's just call it Alpha. No, Omega, just to be fancy like that, right? Okay. 3 projects. I think that's good enough for now. And then just for posterity, record ID formula, we're going to add the record ID here as well. Okay, just to have it so I can easily reference it. All right, that's actually it for Airtable. I'm not even going to set up an automation here on this side. It's not even necessary because Make's going to take care of that part for us. Now let's move on to the Typeform part. Now, this part does require a paid account if you're going to collect more than 10 responses. So actually, while I was testing this, I hit the free account limit immediately because I was testing and I was entering like 20 different records, or at least I was trying to. So if you do anything more than 10, which you probably will, right? You have a team, you want to do this every single day. You're probably going to want one of the paid accounts. It's not too bad. It's like 30 bucks a month, I think. So I'm going to create a new form and start from scratch because that's how we do here. All right. So I'm going to start. I always like a welcome screen. Say hi, recall information with @ So I'm going to say, hey, super team member. If I can spell that correctly, member. Thanks for checking in today. Press start to continue. Just like in any game, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go add content and we're gonna ask our first question, which is short text and your name. And honestly, just name. And depending on how your team is, you could specify, please enter your first and last name. You can figure out how condescending you want these little description things to be. Now, the next thing is I'm going to enter a date and I'm going to ask, what day is this check-in for? And now the reason why I asked is I could just grab today's date no matter what. But what could happen is someone falls behind the check-ins. So they actually, make a check-in for the next day, or maybe they're out and for some reason they're super proactive and they make a check-in for tomorrow and say, I'm not in tomorrow, so it'll be captured in tomorrow's report. I've had a few people that have done that. They're super proactive about it. And that should be it for that. Let's see. Oh, by the way, we should make these all required. All right, and that is it. That's actually it. We can double check the logic and make sure everything's okay. Pull the date in. Here's the welcome page. Question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, by the way, let's see. We should make number 7. Actually, it's good to leave number 7 not required in case people don't want to answer it, so they can just skip ahead. But yeah, we can go to the logic. Let's see, pull data in. Here's the welcome page. Name. Question 2, question 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And all done. Thanks for your time. Actually, there is one more thing. Ending. End screen. And I say, let's see. Thanks for submitting your check-in today. We'll talk soon. Sure. And that's it. And here you can probably remove these nice little things here. You can, remove all this branding stuff. All right. And now all you need to do is go to share and we get our link. Let's see. Oh, the link works once you hit publish and there's our link. I'm going to go ahead and preemptively copy it. And that is the Typeform portion. Now let's get to the automation part. Finally, the first automation we're going to do is super, super simple. I'm going to make a new folder here just to keep everything organized. Demo 2, daily check-in, just to keep all my scenarios together. All right. And so the first thing we're going to do, let's see. There we go. So now we have a blank folder. The first thing we're going to do is create a new make scenario. So this one is just going to be for testing purposes on demand, but we will ultimately schedule this every single day at a pre-described time. So this is going to be coming out of Make, and that's how I like to name these things, to Gmail. And I'm just going to say send daily check-in reminder. All right. Now, super, super simple. Only one module here. For me, it's going to be Gmail because that's what I use. And I'm just going to do a send an email module. Okay. Now, I already have a connection, but if you don't, I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. I'm going to name this demo 2. Let's call it daily check-in. I think that's good enough. Daily check-in, sign into Gmail. And I'm going to select my Studio Spark email, hit allow. All right, I'm connected now. Now, you can always grab an email list from somewhere for testing purposes. Again, I'm just going to email it to myself, Andy Reinhold at studiospark.io. You can always have some sort of automation pulled from maybe Airtable in an Excel spreadsheet, wherever you need, and go ahead and use that as an input right in here. All right. So subject, daily check-in reminder. All right. Simple enough for the subject. And now content. This is where we have some fun. It does allow HTML tags, so you can customize this however you want. I'm just going to say, hey, Rockstar. Should I stop using that? They might get mad. Hey, you. No, I'll just do my usual. Hey, yo. That's what I do on my teams. It's time for our daily check-in. And again, like I said, HTML tag. So I like to do BRBR. Please click the link here to fill out the form. Colon, and I like to do a BR and probably just one break there. I'm going to paste in the form right there. I'm going to do another 2 breaks to do some line spacing. Please make sure to submit your check-in within the hour. You know, you can use some sort of time frame like that. I was thinking about adding a funny image and that kind of stuff, but let's be respectful of your time, I guess. Thanks. And since this is coming from me, let's just make it a little bit more personal. You can have as much fun with this as you want. You could probably actually have ChatGPT come up with something fun. I mean, for me, working at a video game company, at ZeniMax, we used to have someone give us timesheet reminders, and every single timesheet reminder was a different meme and some fun way to make the timesheet reminder something you would read every single week. So you can definitely automate something like that in here too and feed it right into here. But for demo purposes, we're just going to just make this very, very simple. No other fields. Just hit OK. And I'm just going to run it once. Scenario was, by the way, save it. It ran. Now let's check my email. All right, there's my unread message. Daily check-in reminder. Hey, yo, it's time for our daily check-in. Please click the link. And it goes to the link and it goes right in there. Hey, super team member. Thanks for checking in today. Press start to continue. All right, now we have our Typeform. But before we start filling it out, I'm going to show you how to hook up Typeform and Airtable in Make. And if you're looking to add AI and automation like this one to your company, again, you can schedule a call with me. I have a link in my description below to my calendar. All right, let's hop back into Airtable. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is make one more major update to the check-in table, and it's to create a new view. And what I like to do is actually, usually the table with all my data, I like to have a view with all data in fields. And then what I like to do as well is duplicate it and then start filtering things down so it's more of a workflow kind of situation. And you'll see here in a moment, I'm going to call this today's check-ins. And what I'm going to do is, if I want to see all the data and fields, I'll check this view. But here, what I want to do is see only today's. So if check-in date is today, I want the record to show up here. So what's going to happen is when I create a record here, and I'll just say name, Andy, project, don't worry about it. And check-in date, let's call it, that's right. That's just today's the 11th. If it's today, it'll show up here. But if I make another one, Andy, and check-in day 12/12/24, this record will, of course, exist in the database table, but it will not show up in today's check-ins view. So I wanted to do that because I actually wanted to trigger an automation in Make so that Make doesn't have to do the processing to find today's records. It just grabs all the records, and Airtable will provide all those records for it. I think it would save some operations on the Make side, I would imagine, but who knows how that wizardry really works. Anyway, we'll go ahead and delete these 2 records. Okay, now we're going to do the fun part, which is hooking all this stuff out. So let's go ahead and in our check-in scenario folder, create a new scenario. And this one is going to be exactly how we design it. Typeform to Airtable. And I'm going to call it retrieve check-ins. So what I want to do is anytime someone submits a new form response, that form response gets populated and creates a new record in Airtable automatically. So pretty simple. Like I said before, I really do like the integration between Typeform and Make. So what we're first going to do is go to Typeform. We're going to select Watch Responses, Instant Acid, and this is the instant one that is not on demand. This is the one we want. It just works exactly how we expect it. It's going to ask us to create a webhook, and it does it for us very automatically. So let's call this a name demo, webhook name demo2, daily check-in. And that's my webhook name. And I'm going to add a new connection as well, just instead of using the old one, so you can see for demo purposes all the steps here. Daily check-in, and hit save. You don't have to worry about the advanced settings, especially not for something like this. Go ahead and accept. All right, there we go. All right, now it's going to ask for a form ID, and oopsie, I did not name it. So let's go back real quick. It's just called my branded type form. Let's call it demo2 daily check-in. Okay. Daily check-in. Don't know what happened there. All right, now this should refresh. There we go, demo2 daily check-in. That's our new form. Enabled, yes. Hit save. And what I really like, it says, we read your mind. We attach this webhook automatically for you. So you hit OK. Now that we set up the webhook, let's go back to the form and actually put some data in there. Let's do enter your first and last name. Let's do today's check-in, which is 12/11/2024. What project is this check-in for? Let's do Persona 6. Can't wait for that. What did you do yesterday? Today, lorem ipsum. Just because we're testing this. Oh, sorry. What did I do yesterday? Yesterday, lorem ipsum, of course. What are you planning on working on today? Today, lorem ipsum. If you don't know what lorem ipsum is, it's like that placeholder text. Are there any blockers? Blockers! Huh. Lorem ipsum. How are you feeling today, Rockstar? 3 out of 5 stars. All right, thanks for submitting. Now, we have data in the form. As you can see, if you go to your results, you will see that in there. Let's go to responses, and you will see our data in there. Yeah, stars 3 out of 5. I forgot if I did 2 or 3. It is definitely 3. So let's go back to Airtable, and let's actually run this module. All right, and so it's run, and it has grabbed these answers right here. Andy Reinhold, answer number 2, today's date, choice, Persona 6, text, yesterday, today. All right, so we're in good shape. So that's working. Let's go back to the diagram. There's a way I can test this more easily. So I'm gonna actually set this to on demand for now for testing purposes. There we go. No bundles were generated by this operation. So I'm gonna enter my data one more time. That's the fun of doing this. There's a little bit easier way of doing it. It does take a little bit of setup. Like what I could do is set all my inputs as a variable instead. So I can do a tool set variable and set all these things in. It would speed up things, to be honest, but it does take time. And honestly, this automation isn't that big, so I'm not gonna do that right here. Sometimes it is hopefully valuable for some people to see this troubleshooting in action. Let's do my thing again one more time. 12/11/2024. Let's pick a different project today. Sonic 7. What did you do yesterday? Let's actually put some data in. Yesterday, blocked out Neo Green Hill Zone 3 stage. All right. What did you do? What are you planning on working today? Test Neo Green Hill Stage 3 with QA today. Any blockers? No blockers. I would like to talk to the producer on which stage is next on the priority list. I'm just making stuff up. How are you feeling today? Let's say 4. All right. So now there's a new record in here. I have 3 now. All right, let's go ahead and run this because I want to run this while I'm testing it because I want to actually grab this record and start populating Airtable with it. All right, so answers. This is Andy Reinhold again, today's date, and this is for the Sonic 7. Yep, Neo Green Hill Zone 3. Okay, everything's here. Here's what we're going to do next. And this part isn't actually as straightforward. So this is actually something that we need to double check on just so our users aren't putting projects by accident. In Airtable, we created this project table. And we made a drop down specifically for users to select these projects, right? So what we want to do in the automation is do a quick check to make sure that the data that's being entered is actually existing in both Airtable and in Typeform. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to do a quick search for that project table in Airtable. So Airtable, search records. And if you haven't done so, we're going to make a new connection. I'm going to add connection type, Airtable OAuth, and we'll call this demo2.daily check-in. Hit save. It's going to ask me to authenticate everything, and I'm going to add base, and I'm going to go ahead and add my daily check-in base, grant access. All right, now the base is going to be the one we're working in, daily check-in, and table is going to be the project table. All right, now let it load. Output fields, just let it grab everything. So this is gonna make sure all these values are gonna be available in subsequent modules. Might as well. And then we're gonna enter this formula. So we're gonna enter this formula as Airtable will recognize it. So Airtable recognizes column names under these curly braces. So under curly brace, I'm gonna look for name, which is the name of the project right here, this name. Okay, name equals, and it always uses quotes. And in the quotes, what I'm gonna do is grab the mappable answer. I'm actually gonna do a string reference match. I know my software developer brain is going haywire by doing that, but to be fair, there's not gonna be that many projects. In this case, the name is just gonna work fine for the most case. All right, if you need to get more complicated, you can set up some sort of auto number indexing system, but that might be a little bit more complicated, and I wanted to make this as lightweight as possible. So name equals, and we're going to do which project is this check-in for today. And as you can see, the Sonic 7 came up in our previous answer, so grab that one. And limit 10 for now. I mean, you will have to up that limit if you have more records, more projects. And go ahead and let's run this module. And we're going to actually just grab, for testing purposes, just grab the choice, which was label Sonic 7, and throw that in. Let Airtable run search record, and it did find that record, Sonic 7. Name equals Sonic 7, and the record ID ending, I think that's IWO. So let's go back to Airtable and look right here. Sonic 7 is IWO. All right. So now we grab the search records. We're going to use that in the next module, I promise. We didn't do anything with it yet, but now we're going to actually populate the Airtable database with the Typeform record. All right. So let's go ahead and go back to Airtable, and we're going to create a new record now. Connection, go ahead and do daily check-in again, update to connection, because now we're doing a write permission update, not just a read. Add a base, demo 2, grant access to update to permission. So now update the database. It's going to ask me for the base. Of course, we're going to keep it simple with demo 2. The table. Now we're going to create an entry in the check-in table, right? So this is more of what you would probably expect, right? Okay, so name. The name, so basically everything here now, we just map exactly to the form. Super easy. So name, and right here, my Andy Reinhold response. Project. Now this is where that previous module comes into play. So go to add item. Record ID, you're going to enter the ID of the project from before. Now I'm going to enter ID from search records 2 and check-in date. So just to make it easier to read, I'm going to do this parse date, make it empty. Here you can see if I enter a date with year dash month dash day, I want to tell Make that's exactly how this date is formatted. So year, month, day. Right? You can, if the timestamp has other things, it shows you examples of what else you can do. So I'm going to tell Make here, your date is going to indeed be entered in this way, because if you actually check, and I'm going to do two things at once. I'm going to enter the actual data. If you check here, Typeform has sent us back that date, 2024, 12/11, right? And so now this date will come back and be transformed into that timestamp that Make understands. All right, the rest is a lot more straightforward. What did you do yesterday? Click that. What do you plan on doing today? Click that one. Any blockers? Click the blockers question. How are you feeling today? And that comes back as a number. And luckily, we don't have to do any fun parsing or transformation there, because numbers are numbers. Hit OK. And I'm going to go ahead and run this module, and it's going to ask for everything. So instead of testing just that module by itself, I'm just going to run the entire thing all together. And there it goes. And it might not have anything because no bundles were generated. Let's go ahead and use this opportunity to create a new record. Let's start. Okay, my name is Andy Reinhold, and let's put in 12/11/2024. What project? Let's do Persona 6 this time. What did you do yesterday? Let's say created new, let's say I'm part of the amazing UI team. Created new UI widget, pretend to use Unreal, I guess. Widget for Persona screen, right? The actual Persona level screen. Let's do that. And their UI is so amazing. What are you planning on working today? Today, oh yeah. Add animations to the Persona levels screen in main menu. Do you have any blockers? Yes. The menu is too cool. And I can't contain the coolness. All right, how cheesy, but whatever. It's just junk data. How are you feeling today, Rockstar? 5 out of 5, because that UI always makes me feel good. All right, thanks for submitting your check-in. Okay, go back to Airtable. Let's run the entire scenario. And there it goes, super fast. Let's check our output. Everything went successfully. How are you feeling today? And let's go and check our Airtable. Let's go to check-in, and it's there. it is there. Why is all data? Oh, it is there. It just didn't refresh. Okay, it's there. And right, Andy Reinhold, Persona 6, created the new UI widget for Persona level. Let's actually make one modification here, make these extra tall so we can read everything, add animations to Persona level screens. And yes, the menu is too cool to contain. All right, how are you feeling? 5 hearts. And that's the nice thing in Typeform, it's just a number. So if I put stars in Typeform, it can be hearts in Airtable. Doesn't really matter because at the same end of the day, a 5 is a 5 here. All right, great. So now we can start capturing all of these check-ins now. So I'm gonna populate the rest of this table with dummy data, and then we're gonna move on to the next part, which is actually generating the daily summary. All right, so for the sake of time, I went ahead and put in a bunch of dummy data. I actually asked ChatGPT to help me out with this. It just created a fun little hypothetical situation if all these characters were actually a part of a development team with an Unreal Engine environment and in an alpha stage game phase, and it made some pretty funny stuff. I definitely cracked up reading this. If you want to pause the video, feel free, but I'm sure we're gonna have some laughs when ChatGPT summarizes this thing, which is what we're gonna work on next. So before I leave Airtable, I'm gonna do one more thing, and that's this projects table. So what's going to happen is, and I found this out during my testing, is that this, even though it says Persona 6 here, Airtable is showing that for usability purposes. It's actually an ID here in the actual cell itself. And so what happens is whenever we use this project ID or the data in the cell in a subsequent module, it always just comes back as a record ID and not the actual name of the project, which isn't as useful for us when we throw it into ChatGPT and when we read it as humans as well. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and insert a new row here. I'm going to just call it project name, and it's just going to be a lookup table, lookup field, projects from the projects table, and it's just going to check name, create field. And yeah, it's a duplicate, but now it's a string instead of this ID that is seemingly you don't actually see right away in Airtable. I mean, it's great for Airtable. It's a nice usability thing, but when you automate it in Make, there's some unintended consequences. All right, so let's go and do the last step on the automation. Now let's go ahead and automate the last part, which is actually summarizing everything. If you watch my Pokemon TikTok scraper video, this is very similar. But basically what we're going to do is do a quick search record scenario in a brand new scenario. And we're going to search for all the records in that view that we created in Airtable. And then we're going to send an email with the summary. So this is going to be Airtable to Gmail. And I'm going to call it generate an email summary. All right. And I'm going to save. All right, Airtable. First thing is search records. All right. And the first thing we're going to do, and just keep in mind, search record works as an iterator. So it grabs everything and as many records as it needs to. So we need one. You don't need a separate iterator here. Make sure the connection is the same. It should pre-populate with the ones you're working with immediately. Table, we're going to get the, oops, yes, that's right. Make sure you have the right connection. Base, we're going to do the demo check-in. In the table, we're going to do the check-in table. And we're going to sort. We don't need to sort. And the view is today's check-ins. All right, we're going to output fields, select all again, because I just like having everything available to me. Limit, let's up this to 20, just because I know we have more than, we're going to have more records later down the line. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just consolidate all that text. So it's going to iterate through all the records. And what I want to do is I don't need to insert a document or send them multiple completions to ChatGPT. I just want to send one string of text to ChatGPT. So that's what I'm going to do here with this tool called Text Aggregator. It's built in to Make, which is nice. Source module is going to be this first one. And now I'm going to go ahead and say, let's see here. I want the name the project name, which we actually just updated Airtable to grab for us. The check-in date was good. What did you do yesterday? What do you plan on doing today? Any blockers? How are you feeling? And sure, create a date just in case we need it. Now it's gonna squish it all together, right? So I'm gonna want to format some of this. And if you go to this text and binary functions area, you can actually go ahead and add some stuff. But I'm also gonna take this opportunity to make some headings too. So I'm gonna do name. And let's do name and new line. That makes sense. And just for readability purposes, I'm going to do a line break. Project. And it gives me the project name. In fact, let's just make this a little bit easier on me. Let's just go ahead and add line breaks on every single one of these. Okay. And project name. Check in date. And what did you do yesterday? What did you do yesterday? Okay. And what do you plan on doing today? I'm not sure if the colon after the question mark is grammatically correct. Are there any blockers or anything you need from anyone? Now, one of the reasons why I'm actually writing out all these things again is actually because I'm going to feed this into ChatGPT as well. So ChatGPT will maintain these questions and answers. And so it has a complete understanding and contextual understanding of what's happening. And this is, how are you feeling today? And this one is created date. Okay. Now I would like a new line here. A new line here. What did you do today? New line. Yeah, new line right after too, because these are going to be longer strings. Are there any blockers? New line here, a new line here. How are you feeling today? That's a number, so okay, new line, that's fine. And just in case, a new line right after, hit OK. So we're gonna actually go ahead. I think we should be fine to test this. Run this module only. It's gonna grab all 12 records. There we go. And it's just double check. Bundles. It did expand everything for me automatically. Let's see, it grabbed how many bundles? 5 bundles. Oh, 10 bundles, which is, let's double check our database. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, we have 10 records here. All right. So yeah, and it looks like it grabbed everything. ID 10. Okay, see project name. So you can see we did grab the project name correctly. The ID, credit time, and then the what do you plan on doing today? Today I'll finalize a calendar system fix. Blockers, projects. Let's see, blockers, and then what did you do yesterday? Definitely did grab all our records, and now we're ready to feed this into ChatGPT. So, like my other videos, I like to save some money. So I'm gonna set up this ChatGPT module to not really be too power hungry on my operations and credits. So let's go ahead and do OpenAI. I'm gonna do create a completion. All right. I'm gonna make a new connection for demo purposes. Let's call this demo 2 daily check-in. All right. Oh, I do need a new API key. So let's actually go there. Platform.openai. Okay. I will go to API keys. I will go ahead and create a new secret key. And I'm going to name this demo 2 daily check-in. Create secret key. Copy that key. Please don't steal my key. Go back to make. Enter the API key. Don't worry about organization ID for now. There we go. Authentication done. All right. Select method, create a chat completion. In the model, like I said, let's pick something super lightweight, GPT-4o mini. Even after testing, I still haven't used a penny. And I've been banging out tests on this thing, just hitting it on the head constantly. All right, messages. I'm not going to mess with URA, this and that, and system and assistant. I'll just do a user thing and just make it all in one prompt. I'm not going to type this out for the sake of the demo purposes, but I'm going to copy paste it here and I'll read it out loud. Okay, so the prompt I have is, you are an experienced producer / product manager / project manager, right? Depends on the company you're working at. You call it different things. I could even add like Scrum Master, all that kind of stuff, right? Here's a set of daily check-ins, and that is gonna come from our text aggregator, all in one little thing. Isn't that nice? Please do the following with it. Team morale. Determine the team's morale using a median of the team's feeling rating. The numbers rated 1 through 5, where 5 is highest and 1 is lowest. Yesterday's summary. Create a high-level summary of yesterday based on yesterday's activity. So this is my executive summary part. This is like, I just want the quick highlights of the day. Today's plan. Create a high-level summary of today's plan. Immediate blockers and connects. Create a detailed list of blockers and discussions that need to be scheduled today. Details. Take every item and repeat them in this section. I don't want to lose any details. So now that you gave me my executive summary, give me all the details so I know every single word that my team has actually said, right? If I need to actually get there. I already got my executive summary. I have my action items, but now it's like, okay, maybe I need some more context, right? Take every item, repeat them in this section. And then also organize the items into groups of work rather than by person. That's how my brain likes to work as a producer. You know, I do get jumbled up because when I think about what needs to get done, I think about what needs to get done, not who needs to get done. The who comes later. And honestly, the who can happen. You can play around with that, right? The who can be moved around like chess pieces, really. So I'm really focused on the what. For each item, make sure to include who called out the item. So put their name next to it. Mood details. Just in case, I do want to list each team member's reported mood. All right. Okay. And then here's another thing. Depending on the project, right? Please make sure to separate and organize problems 1 through 6 by each project separately. That way I get Sonic 7, Persona 6, and the third game. Oh, Bayonetta Omega. There. In your response, now here's the thing I had to do. This is why I had to test over and over again. Ultimately, when you send a Gmail, the HTML tag formatting is a little wonky. So what I had to tell ChatGPT to do is include HTML tags. And also, for some reason, ChatGPT returns back, understandably, with a completion that says, quote, HTML tag and end quote HTML tag and HTML tag. So this is telling it, don't do that, please. And that way my automation can be formatted correctly. And I'll show you what that means in the future. Max completion tokens, sure, we can just set it at 0. I'm not too concerned about that. Hit OK. And you know what? I'm gonna run this just so you can see it. Oh, well, I would have to run this module too. Yeah, I think I can run the entire thing at this point. So let's go ahead and run the entire thing. There we go. As you can see, it created, the text aggregator created one long string of text with everything. Here's Project Bayonetta Omega. Okay, ChatGPT is done. Let's see what it came back with. Choices, message, content. All right, came back with HTML tags, project, Persona 6, team morale, medium morale rating is 4, yesterday's summary. Today's plan. Team members, okay, so yesterday, team members focused on various tasks, including UI development, which is the one I entered, for implementing dynamic lighting for the Velvet Room and animating character actions and fixing bugs related to the calendar system. Excellent. They recreated Persona 5. Collaboration across roles led to progress in both functionality and aesthetics. Immediate blockers. Akira needs to check with Morgana for confirmation on test cases for a counter bug. Why? Because Persona 5 characters graduate to make Persona 6. That's what's happening here. Mood details. Andy, 5. because I'm so happy with UI. Akira 5, on 4, Morgana 1. All right, excellent. So instead of reading all this, I'm just going to move on to the next step. What I like to do is store this all in one place. I can go ahead and straight email it, but having a Word document is always going to be more useful to transform it into something later, right? It's already in Airtable. I can always re-pull it out Airtable, but that's another operation. I would have to run this part of it again, and this is an iterator too, so it's probably using more and more operations. So let's go ahead and just create a new Google document, and we'll use that document to just reference moving forward. So let's do create a doc, Google Doc. Let's go to create a doc, okay? If you don't have a connection, go ahead and make one, and I will do so. Demo 2, let's call it, I should know this by now. Daily check-in. Sorry, it's been a long day. Let's authenticate. I'm going to have to authenticate with this account here. Connection made. Now, the name. Just like, I'm kind of OCD about this, and if you watch my last video, I like to name my stuff with a timestamp. So we're going to use the timestamp function again. I really like this. At this point, you keep using it, it gets really easy to use. We're going to do format date. We're going to say now, and then we're going to format the date to be year, month, dot, day. And if you're not sure, just always refer back to this section right here. And just for testing purposes, I'm going to have hour, minute for now. That just helps me keep track of things if I had to make a lot of these. And I did when I was testing this for the first time. Period.daily summary, right? And that's the file name. Now, the content, I want to start this off with the same thing, but I'm going to add an H1 header. And that's going to be my title for my heading for my file. I'll still keep the name timestamp. I'm going to have a space, daily summary, if I know how to spell, end H1. And then now I'm going to input my data from ChatGPT. Oh, come on, don't lose it. Okay. Which is going to be under choices, message, and content. And now, as you can see, all the HTML tags are there. And you see this little message, this parameter supports HTML format. All right, choose a drive. I'm going to do my drive, choose a folder, and pick any folder. I mean, you can make any folder. I'm just going to go ahead and put this in my demo folder. Yep, I think that's good for now. Hit OK. And just for the sake of taking some risk here, I'm going to create the document, not test it, and then send an email. Let's be a little risky. Let's roll the dice here. So let's send an email. I like to live life on the edge, right? Let's do Gmail. Gmail is always the first one that pops up. All right, so daily check-in. We already have the connection from before. 2, and again, you can pre-populate this with anything, any Studio, Spark.io. You can pre-populate it using any of the tools that we've discussed earlier. Feed it from Airtable, feed it from like a text variable, anything you like. Shoot me a message if you have any questions. Just for testing purposes, I'm just going to use my email, send an email to myself. Daily check-in summary is ready. All right, that's my subject. And my content is, let's say daily check-in summary for today is ready. Oh, you know what? Let's be fancy. Let's just keep reiterating some of these things that we're learning here, right? Or at least I'm trying to. 4, format date, now, and I'm going to say year. No, because I am American, let's conform a little bit. Even though from a system side, it's year first, let's do month / day, year. Oh my goodness, my brain can't do the switch. Summary is available. BR for breaks. please click the link below. Break. And we are going to now. So when Google Docs creates the document, it immediately creates a web link. So let's go find that. I'm going to hunt for it. Oh no, I do have to run it. All right, it's not available, so let's run it. We can't live life on the edge. I guess that's good. Run this module. Yeah, let's run the entire thing. I'll let the whole thing run. ChatGPT is taking a little more time, a little bit slower. Of course, we're batching this stuff, right? Once a day. We don't need it super fast. All right. It sent an email immediately. I'm just going to go back and clean that out because, we know the email worked, the formatting worked, but it didn't actually provide our content because we didn't finish the automation. So we're going to go back. But now that Google Doc has run, Gmail in this Gmail module should now see that, there we go. All this document information has come back now. Okay, there we go. So now we are going to look for the web view link, which is right here. That's the one I want. That's the one I like. Now we hit, I don't know. Have a good day. Have a good day. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and save this and run this one more time. All right, it's done. So let's go to our email and just do a quick refresh. There it is. Daily check-in summary is ready. Daily check-in for today in this American format that I'm used to is available. Please click the link below. Have a good day. And there it is. It's all formatted with HTML. So today I got a nice good H1, header 1 with our daily summary. It does have the timestamp. Maybe I'll remove that later. Project Persona 6. Team morale. The median feeling rating for the team is 4. Yesterday's summary. And you created a new UI widget for the personal level screen. I'm sick of reading that. Akira implemented a dynamic lighting system for the Velvet Room. Today's plan. Let's see. An will finish Makoto's motorcycle persona summoning animation. Awesome. She's an animator. Morgana will retest the calendar system and focus on battle system. And me as a producer, what are my action items? What do I need to focus on? Andy, no blockers were mentioned. But express excitement over the menu's design. This is why ChatGPT kind of cracks me up. Akira needs to check in with Morgana about test cases. So that's my cue to say, hey, Morgana, me as a value-added producer, do you want me to set up a calendar invite for that? And of course, that's 90% of my day, unfortunately. An needs Yusuke for particle effects timing and Akira. Okay, so that's my prompt to say, Yusuke, do you need me to set up time for you guys? And Morgana needs Akira to push the fix build for the calendar bug and needs An's timing for the summoning animation. That one is like, okay, now I can use my brain. Me as a producer say, okay, line these pieces up timing-wise and who has what dependency and all that kind of stuff. We play chess that way. Details. Since all the details are line by line recreated here. Let's move on. Let's talk about Bayonetta Omega. We didn't talk about that one. Let's see. What's going on here? Team morale is rated 1. Oh no. Bayonetta implemented the new witch time mechanic and optimized animation blending. Jian tested the combo system, and Luca polished the lighting of the cathedral level. And there's always going to be a cathedral level in Bayonetta games. Today's plan. Okay, well, why is the team morale 1? Oh, Bayonetta's 1 and Jian's a 2 and Luca's a 2? Why? Well, of course, ChatGPT didn't make up things like that because I just entered the mood. I should have made better fake data, but who knows? Maybe that witch time system is a pain in the butt to make. I mean, anytime you're dealing with time scale is not fun, right? Combat. Oh, well, one thing I skipped over, how it just created this great summary of combat mechanics, visual effects, right? So if I go to Sonic 7, it'll be the same thing. Let's see. Physics and mechanics. Who worked on what? Animation work. So it's so great just to have all 3 projects done. The best part is all I need to do is now set up to run this automatically. I literally just have to sit back. I don't need to hunt people down. I don't need to set meeting schedules. I don't need to waste everyone's time with a meeting. I just send over this type form, this form. Everyone just fills it out. They enter on their own time. They get an email, right? We sent them an email right here, daily time check and reminder. They can fill out the form. And then on schedule, we get a daily summary, no meeting. Now, there's still times where maybe we want to connect. So this is where I might like set up a Loom video and just read through and comment on today's daily summary. And maybe I'll send that out as a link, right? It's just great. Now I get this organized, detailed check-in for my team. And I'm going to do one more bonus. This automation that we created right here, the nice thing is we can duplicate it, edit, clone. I'm going to clone it. Clone it as generate weekly accomplishments and keep the states of new modules the same as those being duplicated. Yes. And just straight copy it. Now, the only thing I'm going to change here are two things. One, I want this to be weekly. So I'm going to come to the interval and do once a week and say Friday and sure, whatever time, right? Sure, not yet, but that's okay. And now ChatGPT is going to be summarizing my weekly accomplishments. Please do the following with it. I'm going to replace this text and I'm going to say, please summarize in 5 to 8 bullet, 3 to 5 bullet points, the major accomplishments of the team throughout the week. Please make sure to separate or organize items, the accomplishments by each project separately. Keep the HTML tags. And I'm going to go ahead and run this. The Google document needs to be updated too. Sorry, I should have done the Google Doc update. But it's already done because it had to write a lot less. Sent the email already. Let's go to my email. A new daily. It says daily. I needed to update it to weekly, but you get the point. Here's the new link. And look at that. Let's just pretend we change our automation to say weekly. And it says, oh, here are wins for the week. New UI widget created. Implemented dynamic lighting system. Started fixes. Testing a calendar system bug. Led to identification and logging of dialogue alignment issues in confidant conversations. Wow, we did so much this week, right? And I don't have to do anything anymore as a producer. So I pretty much automated myself out of a job. No more stand-ups, so all is well. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. That's what I really am here for. I had a lot of fun making it. I had a lot of fun just playing around with fake, stupid data like this. If you're looking for adding AI and automation to your business, let me know. I have a link in the description below to set up a call with me. See you in the next one. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. Those kind of analytics are going to help me figure out what kind of videos to make in the future. See you around.